Ever since I moved into this old apartment building in Detroit, weird things have been happening, the kind of things you try to explain away. You know, a flicker of the lights, a strange draft, the floorboards creaking in the apartment above. Standard old building stuff. But then, the knocking started. It happened for the first time on a Tuesday, I remember, because I was dreading a big presentation at work the next day. I'd been tossing and turning for hours, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. I finally glanced at my phone. 3:11 a.m. Great. Just as I closed my eyes, trying one last time to get some sleep, I heard it. Knock, knock, knock. It was soft at first, but precise, rhythmic. My eyes snapped open. I held my breath, listening. It wasn't coming from my door or my window. It was coming from the wall right next to my bed, the one I shared with the apartment next door. Knock, knock, knock. My heart started to pound. Who would be knocking on a wall at this hour? Maybe my neighbor was having a nightmare or fell out of bed. I tried to ignore it, pulling the covers over my head, but the knocking got louder, more insistent. Knock, knock, knock. Finally, annoyed and a little freaked out, I sat up. Hello, I called out. Silence. The knocking stopped. I waited for a minute, then two, nothing. I figured maybe I'd imagined it, or it was just the building settling. I lay back down, my adrenaline slowly fading. Just as I was about to drift off, I checked my phone again. 3:12 a.m. Weird. The next night I was exhausted. I fell asleep almost instantly. And then, I was jolted awake. Knock, knock, knock. I shot up in bed, my heart in my throat. I looked at my phone. 3:12 a.m. Exactly, it was the same rhythmic knocking from the wall beside me. This was not a coincidence. This was not the building settling. Someone was doing this on purpose. A mix of fear and frustration washed over me. I wasn't going to let some weirdo neighbor mess with my sleep. I balled up my fist and, feeling a bit ridiculous, knocked back on the wall. Thump, thump, thump. The knocking from the other side stopped instantly. A dead silence filled the room. I held my breath, listening so hard my ears started to ring. And then, I heard it. A sound that made every hair on my body stand on end. It was a whisper. A dry, raspy whisper that seemed to slide right through the drywall, right into my ear. We're trying to get out. I froze. It sounded like multiple voices, all whispering the same words at once, overlapping and distorted. It was faint, but unmistakable. We're trying to get out. My blood ran cold. I scrambled out of bed, fumbling for the light switch. The room flooded with yellow light, chasing the shadows away, but not the fear. I stood there, staring at the plain, cream-colored wall, my mind reeling. What did that mean? Who was we? Get out of what? The apartment, the wall. It made no sense. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I sat on my couch with all the lights on, jumping at every creak and groan of the old building until the sun came up. The next day I had to know who my neighbor was. I'd never met them. The apartment, for B, had been quiet. Too quiet, now that I thought about it. I went to the building manager, a tired-looking guy named Frank. Frank, I said, trying to sound casual, who lives in 4B, next to me. He looked up from his newspaper, squinting. For B, Moby. It's been vacant for at least 5 years. The last tenant, well, he left in a hurry. Said the place was giving him the creeps. My stomach dropped. Vacant for 5 years, but the knocking, the whispers. Frank must be mistaken. Are you sure? I pressed. I've been hearing noises from there, like someone's in there. He just shrugged. Pipes. Kid. This old building is full of plays tricks on your ears. But I knew it wasn't the pipes. That night, I dreaded going to bed. I even thought about sleeping on the couch. But I told myself I was being irrational. It was an empty apartment. Maybe it was the pipes. Maybe I was just stressed from work. I had to face it. I lay in bed, staring at the wall, my phone clutched in my hand. Las tres CDS and las tres y once, my breath hitched. The digital numbers flipped to 3:12, and the knocking started. But this time, it was different. It wasn't coming from the other side of the wall. It was coming from inside my room. Knock, knock, knock. I slowly turned my head, my eyes wide with terror. The sound was coming from my closet door, a tall wooden door on the opposite side of the room. It was closed, but it was rattling slightly with each knock. Knock, knock, knock. It was louder now, more frantic. It sounded like someone was trapped inside, desperately trying to break the door down. I was paralyzed with fear, unable to move, unable to scream. My mind was screaming, though. An empty apartment next door was one thing. This was something else entirely. This was in my room, with me. The knocking stopped. The silence that followed was somehow worse. I stared at the closet door, expecting it to fly open at any second, and then the whispering started again. Not from the wall this time. It was all around me. coming from every corner of the room, a chorus of ghostly voices. We're trying to get out. And then, a new whisper joined the others. A single, clear voice that sounded like it was right behind me. And now we can. The handle on my closet door began to turn. Slowly, deliberately. I finally found my voice, and I screamed. I didn't wait to see what was behind that door. I vaulted out of bed, grabbed my keys, and ran out of that apartment, out of that building, and into the cold Detroit night. I didn't look back. I never went back for my stuff. I broke my lease and moved across town. Sometimes, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I instinctively check the time. If it's anywhere near 3:12, I can't go back to sleep. I just lie there listening to the silence, praying I don't hear a knock. Because I know that whatever was in that wall, whatever was trying to get out, I think I might have let it out, and I'm terrified that one day it's going to find me. Thanks for watching. If you've ever had a paranormal experience you can't explain, share it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more true scary stories. Stay safe out there.